Hi, and welcome back to Technology Review. I'm your host, Mac Jackson Jr. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com or my website, macjacksonjr.com. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, and alike, so definitely find information about me. I'm excited today to have my guests on the show. We're going to talk in this segment of our show in our business spotlight. My guest today, Lisa Desautel. How are you?
Great, thank you for having me.
Very good, very good. Lisa is from Graphic Imaging Services, and we're going to talk about her business and everything, and talk about what's going on in data security. You know, we talk a lot about cybersecurity here, but I wanted to bring Lisa on as well to talk about their business and get her opinions too about cyber and cybersecurity. So, Lisa, we're going to talk about paper security first, and why is it important that businesses have their paper secured?
Well, Mac, as you know, paper can be in many different types of forms, but the reality is that paper is vulnerable. It's vulnerable to natural disasters. We've had Harvey and Irma in the most recent.
Right.
And then, of course, you know, you have things that get misfiled. I ever try to find a document that's not been around, that tends to be a problem. And then, of course, you could have employee theft. In a small business, somebody takes some vital information. So making your data digital and utilizing technology now provides you a better way to not only retrieve it, but to secure it.
True. So the paper society thing, right? Keep everything paperless, just have it digitized. But it's secure too, so that's the other thing we have to talk about, right?
It is. There's a lot of things that go along with that, you know, encryption and making sure that those documents are in a repository that people can't just steal the digital file or go delete it.
Right. That does happen a lot with companies doing that. Also, so informational governance, that's a new thing that's happening, right? So companies are getting together with their HR departments, accounting departments, and IT, and they're saying, look, folks, we have to come up with policies and procedures, right, regarding our customers' data and how it should be protected.
Correct.
So what do you think about that?
Well, information governance, also known as IG, is actually everything that every business needs to pay attention to, whether you're small or large. And the reason being is that it encompasses not just documents, not just engineering records. It involves social media, text messages, video cam, like for the police department, or text messages on your phone. There's so many variations of content that it's not just about records management anymore. It's the entire gambit of data.
Wow, entire gamut data, absolutely. And the threat of that, having that information lost or stolen, can wreak havoc on a company, right?
It can. I mean, in all honesty, if you think about it, if somebody is served with an e-discovery notice and you don't have your information, or it's held on a social site, I mean, there's difficult issues that can be very costly.
Absolutely. E-discovery notice. For those of you who do not know what that is, a little bit about e-discovery.
E-discovery is actually an order from the courts with a legal hold on your documents. So a lot of times organizations are requesting documents through e-discovery, and that means you have a legal hold. You cannot do anything with those documents.
Interesting. So see, folks, I've been talking about this for years, and now I have a professional here to tell you about it, that yes, you can get a court order to have your documents basically seized, right? Basically seize your documents. And so that's why it's important for you to understand your responsibility as a business owner to take steps to protect your customers' information and protect your data. You need to know more about your business and some of its risk. This is a part of risk management and risk factors as well, right, Lisa?
Correct.
Okay, and with that said, let me jump in a little bit more about your business really quickly here for our audience. What does your company do?
Well, we've been in business for 20 years, Mac, and what we do is we started out as a scanning service bureau, just securing paper records, documents, but we've grown to be much more than that.
Nice.
We actually now provide full service document management software, as well as the scanning services and the equipment, and we include the maintenance to fix it. So I usually tell people we use what we sell what we use, and we fix it.
You fix it as well. Very good. So you take the risk away from the client, the customer, and by scanning and
well, we can do a number of things. Sure. Sometimes people aren't ready. They just want to scan their documents. Other times they want document management, and they already have their records digital, or they do everything digitally, and now they need a tool to manage that. So it's a couple of variations, but it just depends on who you are and what you need.
Interesting. So what's your typical type of customer?
Well, any business that has any business documents. So it can be, somebody as large as MGM Resorts or as small as a doctor's office.
That's true, because all that information is important. Like we talk about a lot on this show, folks, information is the new currency. It's worth more than money because hackers can get this information, take it within the dark net, and sell it over and over again. More than just stealing $1. They have information. They could definitely run havoc with the company. So really interesting information. So what's going on in the news last week? What do you think about what's happening with Equifax?
Wow. I told you so.
Yeah, exactly right. I told you so.
The reality is it's still flushing out. We don't know all the details. What we know is management is leaving.
Yes.
We know that there was a patch that was not installed.
Yes.
And, people need to be held accountable. Why they choose not to do that.
True.
Oftentimes I feel like a lot of people will kick the can. Somebody else will deal with it.
Right.
Not on my shift. And the reality is if somebody doesn't step up, it will.
True. Yeah. So just how it happened, right? 143 million accounts being seized. I mean, it's going to cause havoc. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, and that information will turn over and over again in the dark net, and it will be bought and sold by nefarious people trying to use that information to acquire people's personalities, right, and their individual identities. So it's crazy. So the steps towards getting their information scanned, is it arduous, or how does that work?
Well, people have to identify what they need to secure.
Okay.
And there's retention policies for different types of records. So, for example, a doctor's office is mandated to hold your records until for 7 years from the time of the record that it starts.
Okay.
But there's a stipulation. It starts when you're 18. So all those pediatric doctors have to wait 7 years after the age of 18. Buildings are required to be maintained 10 years after the life of the building. So depending on the type of record determines how long you need to have it. So you might have stuff stored in boxes, you're paying storage, but you don't necessarily need it. And that actually in a legal situation can work against you, because in discovery, if they find it, they can use it against you. So it's really about managing your records. Mm-hmm.
It's basically tracking what you have.
It is. How do you know what you have if you don't know what you have?
Right. In our industry, we talk about data, how it moves, right? It's where you got it, three levels, right? Where you got it from, how it's stored, and then how it's destroyed.
Correct.
Yeah, so 3 levels. So in your business, you help the client store it and even destroy it too, right?
And capture it. It might just be on paper. So, whether they want to do it themselves or they want to outsource it and say, let us do our business.
Yeah.
And let people that know how to secure my information in a safe way. I mean, an example of a project we did was the jail. We had inmate records that we had to scan at the jail. Mm-hmm. That's tremendous.
Wow.
It's a lot. And sorting through what needed to be retained for 89 years and what doesn't, it's a challenge.
That would be a challenge, having all that stuff scanned. Then after data like that scanned, what do they do with the paper records afterwards?
Well, you have a couple of options. I mean, some people will say once we've got it, shred it. And that's what's happened so far with a lot of our projects is once they're secure with the quality of the work, I think that's huge. Then they feel comfortable with the digital image. Mm-hmm. If you look at the Nevada Revised Statute, there are laws that are very specific that state that if a physical record doesn't exist, the digital copy will be viewed as a legal record. Of course, you have to go to NRS 239, look at it, read it, and figure out what applies to you.
Right, exactly. That's why I want to have her on the show, folks. It's exactly what we've been talking about. That's very good, Lisa. That's exactly what we're talking about. So you can't have a paper document. You can have it destroyed, but if it's scanned, it's put away, and you can retrieve it. If you need to get it again, you can always go back electronically and find it.
Correct, but you also have to apply retention to a digital file.
Yes.
For those e-discovery situations.
That's right. Very, very important. Well, very good. One more time, let's give out to folks how to get a hold of your company and your website. How to get a hold of you.
You can reach us at graphicimaging.net on the internet. And of course, my email is lisa01@graphicimaging.net, or you can call the office at 702-222-3590.
Very, very good, Lisa. I really appreciate you being here. Hope you'll be able to come to our show more and talk more about this. If you like, what I'd like to do?
What?
I'd like to bring you back on the next segment. Lisa's going to be back. We're got a lot more to talk about. This is really, really great stuff. I'm glad she's here on the show. So stay tuned, folks. Here in Technology Review, I'll have Lisa here from Graphic Imaging Services, and we're going to talk about more about data storage and everything as well, and more about cyber hacks that happened to us. So we'll be right back, folks, here at Technology Review. My name is Mac Jackson Jr. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors. Thank you.